My girlfriend cheated on me with another woman and tried to blame me for it.
That's some backwards logic.
Okay, little backstory. I'm 22 and my girlfriend, we'll call her Jess, and I have been in a relationship for nearly 18 months. She's very attractive, and in all honesty, I couldn't say that I'm a lost cause, but I'm certainly dating out of my league. By the way, this comes from Jackson 2013-3, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. And I'm Angie.
I'm Carly.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We just know what we would do in this situation, so let us know what you would do in the comments. So, OP says, anyway, last week we were at an exhibition function for our shared university course. It was a fairly normal evening up until I saw her talking to this girl from the other side of the hall. Nothing unusual, I just didn't recognize her. However, when they turned around, I noticed the mystery girl had her hands seriously low on my girlfriend's back. I didn't think much of it at the time, but they were completely inseparable for the entire evening. The next week or so, we were usually distant from each other. I wanted to make sure nothing was wrong before I went away. I was going to Bristol for the weekend, and I didn't want to leave things on bad terms before I left. But she was having none of it, just being really blunt and such. So I left for my parents, who were giving me a lift to Bristol. But when I got there, Mum said the old man was ill and we wouldn't be going, at least not today. So, already angry that she didn't tell me this over the phone, I drove back to ours in a foul mood, and that's when I caught her. The front door was off the latch for some reason, so I didn't need my key. I came in the door normally, but kind of stopped when I heard what sounded like Jess giggling. We live in a ground floor flat, so there are no floorboards to creak. As I got closer, I could hear someone, clearly a female, sounding quite breathy, like panting. Uh-oh. At this point, I thought Jess might have been having some alone time or something, so I was about to make myself known until I looked down and saw a pair of worn pink all-stars that I knew were not Jess's. At this point, confusion was starting to build. And as I turned the corner, our bedroom door was wide open and there was a girl from the gallery in my bed, and someone was beneath the covers. What the F is this? I believe was my first reaction. Gallery girl just stared at me, shocked. Yet as I called to Jess, something strange happened. Absolutely nothing at all. She just stayed under the covers and didn't move. For what felt like the longest time, I just stood there, open-mouthed, until I finally shook myself into action and started to leave. Next thing I know, she comes flying out of the door into the hallway of the block, wearing just a pair of knickers and a vest, for God's sake, trying to somehow make this out to be my fault.
What?
I literally didn't know what to say. She's freaking out, and all I could come up with was, "You're not wearing anything. Get back inside. We'll discuss this later." When I got back to the car, the belated rage began to set in. I was angry she cheated, angry she blamed it on me, and angry that I didn't say something else. Honestly, it's the most ridiculous, absurd scenario I've ever found myself in, and perhaps that's why that I wasn't so angry initially. But now I'm wondering what to do. I didn't know she was into girls. She never mentioned anything like that, and now she's cheated on me with one, and we're renting a flat together? Is this just her experimenting? Can we recover? Has anyone been in this situation before? I'm at my wit's end here, people. Okay, we do have an edit. I'm gonna read it really quick. I've just realized how insanely British this all is. So, lift equals ride, knickers equals panties, vest equals tank top, flat equals apartment. But we do have some relevant comments. Dave Azoisier says, experimenting or not, she cheated on you. Now, there's two things you can do. Try and patch it up or end the relationship. Skellum says, actually, based on his edit, it more sounds like she used him to hide her spicy proclivity. Opie says, yeah, to be honest, the more I learn about this, the more it sounds like she's way past experimenting. And Deleted says, I mean, she was with another girl. I might be able to believe this was an experimenting thing if it was the other way around, but most girls don't just go from 100% straight to doing that. They just don't. Regardless, it's still cheating. Opie says, honestly, it's this kind of thing that has been going around in my mind since it happened. She never let on a single hint that she was anything but straight until the moment that I found her between another girl's legs. Feels like the whole thing we had has just been a lie. Another comment says, can you go into a little more detail about her absurd reaction? You teased it in the title, but trying to make this out to be my fault didn't really deliver. It's like, you need to give the audience some more info there.
I also wanted that info though.
I did too, yeah. Opie says, well, partly absurd because she was wearing basically nothing out in the hallway where strangers from other flats come and go, and she's historically quite a modest person. Worse, though, because she said something along the lines of, "You said you were leaving for Bristol," which absolutely flabbergasted me. Then the nail in the coffin was, what, so I get all the blame for this?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, like, what do you mean? To which I had no appropriate response other than absolute fury, so I took the decision to calmly tell her to go back inside, and I left. And we do have an edit. I've read nearly all of these comments now, and honestly, you guys are pretty much spot on, I'm afraid. I can't go back to her and keep any shred of dignity, especially after I found Gallery Girl on her social media earlier and messaged her. She admitted it had been going on for a while and is desperate for me not to tell anyone. As much as it would be a crappy move, I'm seriously considering outing them both.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. You would revert back at that point to also being an a-hole.
Yeah, exactly. If they were both like already out, then like sure you could tell people that they cheated, but that doesn't
never out somebody. That could be a potentially dangerous situation for them.
That's true. Yeah. Knowing her friends, the last thing Jess would want is for them to think that she's into girls. I know it's petty, but I'm just so mad right now. And we do have an update. Do we think he's gonna out them or not?
He better not.
Yeah.
Because right now, OP, you have not been the a-hole for anything.
Right.
If you do this, you become one in your own way.
Yeah, you're about to lose all your complaining rights.
Yeah. She's crappy still, but doing this won't make her uncrappy.
Totally.
It will just make you also crappy.
Totally. But we do have an update 2 days later. I had a lot of back and forth texts with the ex. She's stopped saying she's sorry, instead trying to say that I didn't see what I thought I saw, which is hilarious. Here's the best part. She told one of our mutual friends, a girl, that we had split up because she had a guy around, and I hit the roof and overreacted. I wasn't going to divulge the full story to anyone, but after I heard she had said that, I told this mutual friend the whole story. Mutual friend didn't believe me, so I showed her the messages between me and the gallery girl. Now her friends at least know that she's a cheat and a liar. Also, I told the landlord I'd like to take myself off the lease because this has happened and he's looking into it. Hopefully that can be resolved in the next week or so. I've also been getting spammed with texts from Jess today saying that I'm heartless and I've ruined her life. Oh, the irony. And there are some final comments. Deleted says in response to OP divulging the whole story, "You're right, suspected once you start lying like she did, all bets are off. She compounded an already terrible situation. I don't think she thought things through." And OP responds, "Yeah, I tried to explain this to her over text. This is completely all her own doing. She at first claimed that I didn't see what I know I saw. Then she tried to explain that people might think that I'm making it up, clearly not realizing I'd spoken to Gallery Girl over social media. I showed her the proof, but said that I wouldn't out her if she was honest about it all with our friends. She wasn't honest, so I told them. I really don't know what she thought would happen here." Another commenter says, "I can't help but wonder, do you just have to take a moment and wonder what kind of person you were dating? She just sounds so dumb."
Yeah, for real.
And OP says, "Honestly, I know I've painted a picture of an incredibly stupid girl, but that's what makes her actions here all the more shocking to me, because she really isn't that dumb. I have to believe that her getting caught in a seriously compromising position is what has led her to act so stupidly, because I have found myself completely dumbfounded at some of the stuff that she has done or said since I caught the two of them." So this is what the ex told the friends exactly. I think her implication to the mutual friend was that there was just a guy at our house and no funny business was going on, like there actually was with the girl. And that's the end of that story. Okay.
My wife cheated for years, but now everyone thinks it's my fault.
It's not.
My 45 male wife, 43 female, just told me a few hours ago that 15 years ago she was having an affair.
Straight to Reddit.
We have been married for almost 15 years and together for 19. Tonight we had a game of truth or truth on a date at the football game. We agreed it would be a chance for anger and consequence-free questions and answers that we have never told each other. By the way, this comes from Formal Outcome 6404, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Carly.
I'm Angie.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, after several questions both ways, I asked if she had ever been unfaithful, fully knowing it would be a no, but yes came out. 15 years ago, she was friends with a guy I didn't trust, but she told me, he's just a friend. Stop being so jealous. Besides, he's married. I let it go, but asked for him to not be invited to our wedding, but she wore me down on that too. So at my wedding, 25 feet away from us, was the guy she was sleeping with. I'm in shock and have no one to talk to. Beyond the humiliation and disrespect, we now have 3 children to complicate this: 13, 11, and 7. I always told her this was my red line, so she says that's why she never told me. She swears it was the only one time she ever has. But how the F can I trust someone that would do this to me? I'm so effing lost. Update. So 10 days later now, and it has gone from bad to crazy. Saturday the 18th at a football game, I got blindsided by an affair right up to our wedding almost 15 years ago. After staying out until Sunday, I came home, and when I asked about it and if there were more, she swore up and down no, and then she went into a panic attack. I had no time to grieve or think. I consoled her and brought her off the edge for the sake of the kids and family. We talked when she calmed down, and I was hoping for a reconciliation due to her obvious regret. I again pressed her that if it was only the one time, now was the time for full transparency. I sent her to her parents and spent the day with the children after finding out they remained in contact for 5 months past the wedding. Monday, she asked to come back and that she really wanted to make it work. I threw out my wedding ring, her dress, and all the pictures. Gone forever. I agreed to allow her to remain, and we talked calmly and affectionately. She jumped my bones that night and slept soundly. I, however, didn't sleep or eat and curled into the couch to stare at the wall and cry alone.
Aww.
Tuesday after work, I sent her this link to read all the comments, and she had another panic attack. Once again, I consoled her so that the children didn't see her like that. I made supper, did homework, played Roblox, and went to bed once the house was quiet. I again took the couch. Wednesday. Holy effing crap pile day. After work, I had come up with a plan to get the truth out of her because I knew there was more to the story. I told her I had booked a local lie detector test for the following day, and if she failed even one answer, it would be instant divorce. I knew by her reaction I was in for a crap storm. She hadn't been faithful for the entire relationship. Her most recent only months ago. She had been effing the latest one 4 to 5 times, so she says, in my truck when she would get fake work calls at night. In my truck because her van broke and I let her use it until we could afford to fix the van. No protection, and he was married as well with 3 kids. I told her to get out of my car and drove away to clear my head. She called and texted several times for me to come back and talk, and I stupidly did. While I was gone, she had a panic attack again, but I didn't console her this time. I told her to come out to my car. I didn't yell. I remained very calm and relentlessly berated her and insulted her until she was so panicked she puked and flopped out of my car in a pile of panic attack. I never laid a hand on her, nor even raised my voice, while I told her how awful and soulless she was, that I hated her to her very core. I walked away and told her to figure it out herself. I went inside and made supper for our kids, ham, rice, and corn. Little did I know that when I texted her to come out, she had called my sister and her workmates, leaving the phone on without my knowledge throughout the entire conversation. My sister texted my 2 oldest children and told them not to talk to me and to trust her. They were in danger and to leave while her dad came and got them. I finished making dinner and set the table for 4, seeing her dad had picked her up. I called the kids, but only the 7-year-old came to the table. I called my son's phone and heard it ring. I saw the text from my sister and knew they had taken the kids. I texted her and told her to get them back, and she went off, saying she heard the whole conversation and that I was harmful, and that every time we had fought in the past, I must have been like that. I called my wife, who was now in the hospital with a debilitating panic attack. She didn't answer, so I called her dad, and he just said he was keeping the kids. Not 10 minutes later, 3 OKOP police officers showed up and detained me on my porch. Little did I know, my wife had started her period and filled the washroom garbage with bloody tampons, and my dog had decided to feast and make a Texas chainsaw scene while I was trying to find the children.
Oh gosh.
So the police needed to go into the house to make sure everyone was fine due to the call from my sister stating I was out of control and in poor mental health. When they got to the washroom, they thought I must have unalived my wife, and they read me my rights and detained me. I frantically called my wife's father and her repeatedly at this point. All the while, I heard my 7-year-old ask the officer if he would like to play Roblox with her.
Oh.
Because they were taking me away from the game.
Oh my god. Can you
Is this what iPad kids have become?
I mean, I'm glad the kid like seemingly isn't scarred from this right now. Like I would imagine she would be. She's just like, well, Dad can't play Roblox anymore.
Hey,
Can
Miss
you?
Police Officer, do you want to play Roblox?
Yeah. Oh my god.
You can take my dad, but just come back and play Roblox.
Yeah, I just need someone to play Roblox
Yeah, guys,
with me.
I
Like,
can't pause this game.
I don't. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh.
Finally, my wife talked to the police and everything was cleared up. I asked them the first thing that came to mind when I looked through the window at my beautiful, innocent girl laughing and playing. If I was such a danger and such a horrible person, why would anyone legitimately concerned for my children take the 11 and 13-year-old but leave the 7-year-old behind? They warned me that this was likely a call to prove something untrue at custody hearings in the future. I shook their hands and they left. Thursday. My wife and sister came to the house for clothes, expecting me to be at work. I have my daughter to take care of, and I was in no shape for any work-related issues. They sent my older children into their rooms to pack bags and tried to get my youngest to leave. She said, "I'm not leaving Daddy's side," and refused to go. I tried to talk to the other kids, but they were ushered away immediately. Friday, after threatening to involve a court order, my children were returned to me. My wife is staying at my sister's, acting like the poor mistreated wife, and again, I have no time to grieve the life I thought I had. I booked IC immediately, and he is great, affirming that I am not at fault, and in his 50 years of practice, he has never seen something like this. I had a great night of movies, chips, coloring, and of course, Roblox. My wife called and said she wanted to come home now, that she is heavily medicated, and our son's birthday is Sunday. I told her she could come over Saturday night and stay Sunday. Saturday night rolls around, and she comes in and says we can take turns week for week, staying at my sister's. And I told her to think again. I am staying in my home with what I hope are my children. And she has the legal right to as well in the unfinished basement on our old couch. The children light up as we are all in the same house again, and I play Nerf and dress in our Halloween costumes for the night. Sunday, we have a great day. Me smiling and laughing for my son's birthday while crying on the inside. She invites her father and mother and sister over for the party. Yes, the ones who stole and tried to turn my children on me. So I cook spaghetti sauce all morning, make supper, and serve everyone like the good little fool with a smile for my son's sake. I couldn't eat or talk to these people. So I cleaned and went out for many smoke breaks. So many that my fingers are now disgustingly yellow. By the way, we have so many episodes with stories just like this. So go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcasts, search up OK Storytime. We have just a little bit left. This story has been wild.
Yeah, that took a turn
Wow.
insanely. Like,
All because this wife was having an insane affair for 15 years.
yeah.
Like, girl,
Yeah.
come on.
Like, I'm just imagining OP thinking about how his life was so seemingly normal and great, like, a week ago or like 2
Right.
weeks ago. Like, all of this stuff has just blown up.
Oh my god.
It's insane. Like, because I'm thinking too, like, at first, some of the panic attack stuff from the wife is like, okay, a lot of people who have messed up and are in
Yeah.
relationships, they will like freak out. I mean, obviously they probably feel guilty,
Right.
maybe, but I think them leaning into their emotions and expressing them that like aggressively.
I was worried that it was gonna be like a manipulation tactic
Yeah,
almost.
same.
Until she puked from one
Yeah.
and had to go to the hospital. And then I was kind
Yeah.
of like, okay, I didn't really like that we like verbally came at her with
Yeah.
like insults until she puked.
Sure.
But then they came and stole 2 of your kids?
Yeah, like your own sister. did it? Like, what is
I was like, huh?
Like, I don't know, because it's like I feel like, yeah, you shouldn't have done that, but I also kind of don't blame him. Like,
Right. Like, I'm like, sure, maybe hindsight, you can be like, if we couldn't have, like, an emotion, like, a toned down emotion conversation, like a calm conversation, we shouldn't have had one.
sure.
You don't know that that's going to happen.
Right.
You can't control that in the moment. You just found out that 15 years were a lie.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, we got a little bit left. Everyone leaves finally, and my wife gets into our bed like nothing. I am being made out to be a monster, and I have to take care of everything for my children's sake. She has done nothing to reconcile and is using her mental breakdown from supposed guilt as a crutch. FML, sorry this was so long-winded, but I am effing exhausted and destroyed on all levels of manhood and humanity. But I effing love my children more than myself. So for now, until separation papers are signed and the house is decided, I keep carrying on. I am going to therapy bi-weekly and I'm trying to stay afloat. I take responsibility for not being a great husband. I am avoidant and very closed, but I am learning. But I don't deserve this. I know I am a good man and a great father, and that is the end of that story.
My boyfriend admitted that he wants another woman, but still expects me to stay with him.
What?
I've been with him for 4.5 years. We have 2 kids together now. They are both toddlers, a 3-year-old daughter and a 2-year-old boy, and I myself have a 13-year-old son. So I left Arizona and all my family about a year ago to come be with him and give it a go again. Things were great at the beginning, then I started noticing changes about 5 months in. He started drinking more and smoking the devil's lettuce, like overindulging. By the way, this comes from Spirited Storm 716, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. And I'm Angie.
I'm Carly.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We just know what we would do in the situation, so let us know what you would do in the comments. So, OP says, we'll backtrack to 4 years ago. I caught him being inappropriate messaging one of his exes. They were flirting and he had deleted the messages, but I saw just enough to know what was up. Then down the line more, he's talking to his baby mama. Same thing, being inappropriate, living in effing la la land. He always says it's nothing and that I'm worried about nothing, and then he usually comes around and admits to it being some BS. That happened when we found out that we were pregnant with our first child, our daughter. Now fast forward to 4.5 years later. He's working as a maintenance man where we live. The place was willing to give him an apartment even though his background is bad because of his in and out charges in the system. Mind you, we met through the system on a jail bus, except I've completely changed my whole life and myself around, while he would be doing good and then fall off, etc. So we're living here together in this apartment. Things are great. Then I noticed changes. And then, of course, I lose my car. So now I am literally a stuck stay-at-home mom worried about what he may or may not be doing. Well, there are these other people that live here. I'm 31 female and he's 35 male. So I don't know what the F he even sees in wanting to hang out with them, but he does. So now the guy ends up becoming my fiancé's friend. Well, when I first met the girl, I didn't like her from the jump. She carries herself as if any and everyone can have her, if that makes sense. Also, she has tattoos all over her, which some do look okay, but She also dresses very inappropriately. She has 2 little babies as well. So I noticed my husband going over to hang out with them more and more. Well, these people aren't any good. They sell substances, party all the time, and crap like that. Of course, he got intrigued and interested. Well, my fiance and her dude start becoming close or whatever. So all of a sudden, a month ago, this guy's phone breaks. So now he has to use her phone to get a hold of my fiance. I'm sure you see where this is going. I don't ever go through his phone, but I just had this weird feeling. So I go through his phone, and sure enough, I find some crap. Except he deleted all the messages and the recently deleted. So I wait and try to piece it together more. My fiance is a self-absorbed person also. I'ma just throw that out there. He thinks he never does anything wrong ever. So yes, of course I'm upset. Except I have nothing really to go off of except for a few messages between him and her that make absolutely no sense. From the moment I met this girl and her boyfriend, I knew they were trouble. They're just not any good. Her boyfriend isn't such a bad guy, but the fact that he tolerates the BS she does is what makes me not trust the whole situation. So this last Friday happens. I know a little bit, but all I know is that my fiance is being sneaky because all I saw were scrambled messages that made little to no sense. But my gut is telling me that there is more. Otherwise, they wouldn't be deleted. I remember seeing messages between her boyfriend and my fiance on her phone, and that's how I know he deleted stuff because I remember seeing him and his messages. So we get into a big old fight Friday because he has the nerve to ask me out of nowhere, why do I not like her and why do I have such an issue with her? I told him, I don't know, ask yourself why. Why do you think I might not like her? So I brought up the messages to him. He lies, of course, and makes up some lame story as to why they were talking and why he deleted the messages. I'm furious at this point because remember, we've gone through this before in the past with him being sneaky and inappropriate. So some time goes by through the night and I decide to message her myself because I saved her phone number off of my fiance's phone. So I message her and she asks to call me. She tells me all of it, which could be nothing, but in my opinion, all of it is inappropriate. And she sends me screenshots. But also, that's irrelevant because at this point, she's only going to send me screenshots of what she told me happened. Get it? Yeah, me too. So I read them all and noticed that she was saying crap that she shouldn't have been saying as well. I'm disgusted and repulsed by the things that he was saying to her. And also, this happened back at the beginning of March, so she knew all this time, obviously. Supposedly, her boyfriend knows too, and he's seen the messages too. All of it sounds shady and weird to me. I don't trust her, her boyfriend, or my fiance. I feel completely betrayed, humiliated, shattered, and broken. And now I'm completely stuck. I've been looking into family shelters for me and my kids, but they are all full at the moment. Then my fiance, of course, tries to justify how he didn't do anything wrong. And he rereads the messages over and over and decides that he didn't say anything that was really that bad. All in all, we got into a fight the next day about it, and he came clean and told me, of course, he wants to F her. Of course, she's his type, and that he isn't attracted to me anymore. Great. He says more BS to me, and then blames me for what he's done. Then Monday comes around. I'm not talking to him at all at this point, so he comes out to the parking lot and starts a big scene, telling me that I don't even want to fix things. I said, I didn't break it, so why should I fix it? You're the one who did this. And he doesn't see that he did anything wrong. So any advice? Please be honest, not critical. I know I need to leave, but I'm scared to, and I don't know why. And I don't know why you haven't listened to full episodes of stories just like this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, or Apple Podcasts. Just search OK Storytime. So easy, guys. But there is a little bit more to the story.
Yeah, girl, I can't even be critical of you because I'm just as confused as you are, I think.
This is just, my God.
This is the wildest thing to just like slowly uncover, and you know that you need to get out. Like, you're doing it.
I think it's totally fair to be scared of leaving.
Right,
like,
100%.
Totally. Like I mean, at the worst of it, you might be scared of his reaction, of how what he's gonna do. And that's something, obviously to pay attention to. I think, it's also very possible that you're just scared to be alone. Because, you've been in this relationship for a reason. You guys are engaged. You want to get married. Like, you're probably scared of losing all that.
And from the sounds of it, not having a place to go, so having to jump with 2 kids into a shelter like that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you're in a tough spot. So it's totally understandable that you're scared to leave. But I think, the fact that that you should is amazing.
Yeah,
amazing.
You've got it.
Yeah. We have some comments. Comment number 1 says, this is a lot of drama for a 30-something-year-old, especially when you have children to raise. I'm curious how you came to decide to have kids with him before deciding to spend the rest of your life with him. Seems like that's more permanent than marriage, but I suggest you go to work, maybe even daycare so you can bring the kids, start being financially responsible for you, and don't put yourself in a position where you rely on someone you aren't married to. This is too much drama to be a healthy environment as a parent. Yeah, I'm assuming that they didn't really mean to get pregnant and have kids. I mean, if they started dating 4.5 years ago and they have a 3-year-old, it is kind of wild that they have like multiple kids together. Yeah. But also, I mean, they could all be accidents. So that's what I'm assuming. But we do have an update 8 days later.
Okay.
Whew. Okay, update. I got away.
Yay!
And me and my kids are safely at a DV shelter.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Wow. I'm working on getting a job and childcare set up and eventually housing. This will be a good thing for us. And that's the end of that story.